if you want to understand Agile project delivery, then you need to go back to the start. And first, there was the Agile Manifesto, a statement of intent and a set of 4 core beliefs. Then came the 12 Agile Principles. And it's these that tell us what Agile really is and how to make adaptive project management work. I've already done a video about the Agile Manifesto. It was created in 2001 when 17 software developers came together to discuss lightweight software development methodologies like extreme programming, rational unified process, and rapid application development. Then, in 2005, 2 of these people gathered another group together to articulate what has become the 12 principles of Agile delivery. Here are the 12 Agile principles which underpin the Agile Manifesto as articulated at agilemanifesto.org. Let's look at them in turn. Number 1. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Customers and users want their software now. Or, realistically, as soon as possible. So, Agile methods need to implement processes that optimize for speed of delivery. If that's what customers want, that's what they should get. Number 2. Welcome changing requirements, even late in the development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. There are 2 important aspects to this Agile principle. The first is the recognition that in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment, what it takes to drive competitive advantage can shift, perhaps often, but that's just a matter of degree. We see this in predictive projects as well. The more important aspect is the way that Agile methods accommodate this at the core of their processes. This is fundamentally different from the way that traditional project management methods adopt change control as a bolt-on to their process. Number 3. Deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference for the shorter timescale. Frequent increments means more rapid feedback. This, in turn, means quicker remediation and less rework. Frankly, it's a sound principle in life. And industry seems to have taken this to heart. Iteration or sprint periods are reducing, and weekly releases are no longer a rarity. Number 4. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Isn't that obvious? Frankly, in traditional, highly scoped and highly planned software projects, software engineers and business people rarely, if ever, spoke to one another. When they did, they didn't speak the same language. So businesses, consultancies, and developers employed translators, whom they called business analysts. These spoke enough business speak to gather correctly the requirements of the business folk, and they spoke enough system speak to translate this effectively for the developers. Number 5. Build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. It feels like this principle was driven by someone's bad experience. You wouldn't think you'd need to state it, but as a foundational principle, it has to be sound. How could it not be? But as well as advocating for managing morale as well as resources, it also says to me that we should be recruiting people who want to be there. It reminds me of the familiar advice to hire for attitude and train for skills. Number 6. The most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face communication. If email is the worst form of human communication, and I believe it is, pending future innovations of course, then face-to-face communication in a shared language is the gold standard. So here's another principle that focuses on communication. And many project managers, like myself, agree that project management is 80% communication. The other 20%, by the way, is precise and accurate estimating. The challenge for many development and project teams is that they are no longer co-located. Technology solutions like video calls and messaging apps like Slack plug the gaps, but they will never beat having a development team working together in one room. This one is not so much a general principle for project management as a more general statement about human social interaction. Number 7, working software is the primary measure of progress. Every project manager needs to measure progress. There are simple measures, like milestones and delivery of products, and there are more subtle and complicated approaches, like earned value analysis. But for Agile, this principle says the primary measure is working software. So this is a special case of a general principle in project management. The general principle is to measure progress and to find a suitable measure of progress, or if you can't, to find an appropriate proxy. Here we see one particular measure come to the fore. And of course, it's the one that the customers value most. And I also think that the general principle of focusing on value is relevant here. It's the working software that has the value, and so we are actually measuring value. Indeed, we could go further. The development is not complete until working software is delivered. Unreleased software isn't an asset, so it must be a liability. Number 8. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. No holidays for you then. Here's a real difference between the Agile philosophy and the reality of traditional project management. Planned projects have deadlines and milestones. They have handovers and go-live dates. These are big events that cause pressure, rush, intensive work, and even stress. This principle, combined with frequent delivery, can do away with all of that. Or at least, they try to. Agile tries to create short periods of even work pressure. However, I don't doubt the reality that there's often a last push as we approach the end of a sprint or an iteration. However, the aim is to make constant refinement and incremental development a reality, and to do so without setting up the team for periods of high pressure and stress that can affect their productivity and effectiveness. This is a marvellous principle and has no ready equivalent in traditional project management. But it should. There should be a requirement that all project managers set up processes and systems that enable their teams to work at a constant level without stress or burnout. This should run from initiation to closeout. Yes, by all means have timed scheduled breaks, but don't push your team so hard that it damages their ability to work effectively. And of course, the best among us strive to achieve that all the time. Number 9. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Is it just me, or does this appear to somewhat contradict the first of the 12 principles? That said, that our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. But if we just keep the first 8 words of the principle, then we can get rid of the conflict. You can't optimize for both time and quality without writing a blank check for budget. This principle should really be about continuous attention to what matters. And I think technical excellence and good design should always matter. These enhance agility. They allow the necessary flexibility to modify or add onto the solution without the need for excessive rework. The general principles here are about 2 things: the importance of quality management and building it into your core process, and the balancing of time, cost, and quality. Number 10. Simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, is essential. If keep it simple is not a general principle in project management and life, what is? This one needs little interpretation. Number 11. The best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. What is the role of a project manager in Agile projects? The answer, of course, depends on which Agile method or framework you select. But some don't have an explicit project manager role at all. And this Agile principle explains why. Agile prefers a self-organizing team. Here, a motivated team can arrange its own work. The role of an explicit leader is very much a subtle one, a supporting role, the role of a servant leader. And I've done a video on servant leadership. This doesn't find a ready equivalent in any of the statements around general project management. That said, creating a supportive environment where teams can thrive and succeed is always a core part of the project manager and project leader role. But I like this principle a lot. I like the idea of empowering your team to do their very best work and to provide only the lightest of light touches of leadership and guidance for them. Do what it takes to help them succeed and let them do the rest. And finally, number 12. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behaviour accordingly. I love this one. Reflection is the primary mechanism that we can adopt as professionals to move from being smart, well-informed experts to being truly wise. The kind of people that others seek out for guidance and advice. Agile methods often have specific approaches to facilitating this reflection baked into their process, method, or framework. In Scrum, for example, there is the retrospective. It's a great principle to end with. If you can reflect on your performance at the end of everything you do, you will only get better and better at it. Please do give this video a like if you've learned from it or enjoyed it. I'll be making loads more great project management videos for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of them. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.